It's just your spare change, my brother laughed, flicking his wrist like my money was lint on a coat. The dining table was already crowded with catalogs, watches, villas, a yacht with a name they hadn't even earned yet. I didn't laugh back. I checked my international holdings report instead. That was the moment. The quiet click where love finally locked itself behind a door and slid the deadbolt. I remember the sound of cutlery scraping porcelain, the way my wife didn't meet my eyes, the way my brother spoke like he already owned me. They thought the divorce papers had made me smaller. They thought grief meant weakness. They mistook silence for surrender. They'd known me since before the money, before the structure, before I learned how systems bend when you understand where the pressure points live. We grew up sharing everything, rooms, secrets, hunger. When I built my first company, he called me every night, proud, loud, loyal. When I married her, she said she trusted me because I was careful, because I thought ahead. That trust tasted different once it curdled. The signs arrived politely at first. Numbers rounding themselves. Transfers explained too quickly. Jokes about offshore accounts that landed a second too late. I didn't confront them. I cataloged. I let patterns introduce themselves. Control is not loud. It's patient. I found the first real crack in a deleted message that wasn't deleted well enough. A banker's name I didn't recognize. A time zone that didn't belong to us. I felt the hurt then, sharp and personal like a blade testing my ribs. I let it pass. Pain clouds judgment. I needed clarity. So I stepped back. I listened more than I spoke. I let them underestimate me. That was easy. They wanted to. I stopped reacting. Started mapping. They were moving money through accounts they didn't understand, assuming my name insulated them. They forgot I designed the insulation. They forgot I kept copies of everything. They forgot that international holdings reports don't lie, and that auditors don't laugh. I restructured quietly, not to hide, to expose. I flagged transactions with the precision of a surgeon. I documented intent, dates, conversations. I didn't need revenge yet. I needed inevitability. Justice works best when it arrives dressed as routine. I waited until Thanksgiving. Traditions make people sloppy, confident. They invite witnesses without realizing it. My brother brought wine. My wife brought rehearsed smiles. I brought printed reports and patience. Halfway through dinner, when the turkey was being carved and they were relaxed, I slid my phone across the table. Funny thing about spare change, I said. It moves. My brother scoffed. My wife went still. I showed them one screen, then another, a timeline, a flowchart, names of institutions they'd never set foot in, compliance alerts, jurisdictions with zero tolerance for the kind of arrogance they'd mistaken for cleverness. They started talking fast, explaining, blaming each other. I didn't interrupt. Then the doorbell rang. The financial crimes unit arrived with perfect timing and impeccable manners. They even smiled at the turkey. Asked if it was free-range, professional, polite, unimpressed. My brother's laugh died first. My wife followed. Fear looks different on people who thought they were untouchable. It strips them fast. I watched understanding bloom, slow and horrible. The realization that I hadn't reacted because I'd already acted. That the divorce wasn't an end. It was access control. That every signature they forged had been logged. That every dollar they moved had left a shadow. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Consequences spoke fluently. They were escorted out one by one, wrapped in the quiet dignity of procedure. No shouting, no drama, just the sound of lives folding inward. Later alone, I poured myself a drink and sat at the same table. The catalogs were still there. I flipped one closed. Luxury always looks cheaper once you know the price. I thought I'd feel emptiness. Instead, I felt space. Betrayal teaches you what people see when they look at you. Revenge teaches them they were wrong. But justice? Justice teaches you who you really are. I wasn't cruel. I was precise. I didn't destroy them. I let them finish what they started. Silence returned to the house, heavy but clean. I breathed. For the first time in months, I didn't have to calculate. They took my trust and called it spare change. I took my time and called it accounting, and the books are finally balanced.